Oh, Mitakuye, I say hello, all my relations. I am the Lucky Coyote. And today we are going to be trying to figure out how to run AAA games on my computer, which all the specs are listed on various websites you're looking at. If you're watching this stream, so help in the chat would be appreciated, because currently I'm at a loss of why it's bottlenecking so bad. Probably in how OBS is trying to encode it, because I do get that encoded issue every once in a while when I'm trying to play a AAA game. So for that, I'm going to bring up my HW monitor, which is a free program I'm using. And as soon as it's loading, I'll be able to bring it over here. There we go. Now you should be able to see it. Hopefully in better detail than I can on my end. Let's bring that down a little bit. Okay, so this is not running a single game on it. I am running a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. As you can see there. And it's at about 18 to 20%. So not bad. So, well, of course, we just started this up. My download and upload speed are pretty good. Download should actually scale a lot more. They got some pretty high. Upload speed's pretty good, but I'm not taking very much there. And we're going to run a quick test my internet speed. Speed test. I don't know why that's taking so long. Let's just go to speedtest.net. That should run a little bit faster. Oh yeah, tons of fun. Most amount of fun is when you see when you're going to see my FPS drop off a cliff once I start playing the games. Okay, 202 megabytes download, 20.78 upload. Not bad. Not bad. music's kind of hot. Thanks. Whistles and guitars. Alright, so that's that. Okay, so I'm trying to see exactly how I can do that. Pull up display settings. Auto HDR. HDR must be enabled. Optimizations for Windows games reduce latency and use advanced features in compatible games by using flip presentation model. Advanced graphic settings. Hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Okay. Alright, so to test out, we're going to pull up a AAA game here. We are going to start with, let's see what's on my library. Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals takes up quite a bit. Thanks. Your confidence means all the world to me. Give myself a little bit more light here. See how much this changes real quick, but first I'm going to bring this up in the other window. If I can. Capture. I should probably change the sound of my headphones real quick. That way it's not getting picked up on the mic. see if I can pull the settings. Settings display, change that from full screen to windowed. Apply that, confirm. I'm going to toss that on monitor 2. Apply that. Okay. So there's that. And I'm going to pull my HW monitor over to the other screen so that way I can see it if it starts dropping off a cliff. Yeah, when? Hopefully I changed some of the settings enough that it solved that. Okay. Frame generation mode off. Okay, so 1920 by 1080, that works. Super resolution sharpening. I'll try not to have it scream at me. Limit FPS, VSync. Optimized settings. Optimize. That went to high. Okay, we will try that at high right now. Currently, my processor's running at 110%. That's for the CPU. What the heck does the GPU say? GPU is running at 66%. Let's see if I can bring this over here. Yep. Okay, so that's still within range. What we want. But this isn't even playing the game. Alright, now it's climbed up to 70% for GPU usage. CPU usage 111%. So let's take this down a little bit. Nope, still didn't do that. Graphics quality, we're going to go with low. Okay, now we'll pull that back up. Let's see if that changes anything. Okay, it's still sitting at about 70%. Now 72%. Minimum of 16. I'm going to turn off the preview for OBS, see if that alters anything. Okay, so that dropped it by a few percentage points. Not much. How much is the CPU doing? CPU is still running at about 111%. Nyam! Super resolution mode. We're going to favor performance on that. Okay, so let's see now if that changed anything. Alright, still sitting at about 70%. A little under that for the GPU. CPU is running at about 109%. So let's see now. Let's try settings in OBS. So I'm going to bring that up over here. So we're going to do our output, 6,000 kilobytes per second. For output. I don't really want to go any lower than that. That's the audio encoder. Encoded preset we're going to put to medium quality. Apply that. Just bring that down just a little bit. My CPU or my GPU usage isn't going up, or isn't going down. Video. You kind of want to start high and then scale it back. I can't change the scaled resolution because I am streaming currently. My stream. Recommended. And I can't change any of that. IR delete Haxor. Okay, so it's on the right video encoder. So that's supposed to use the GPU right there in order to encode it and send it all off to you guys. That's still sitting about 75%. My GPU just sitting on the loading screen. Okay, well, can't change the size of this, so let's try and see how we can, if we can play this at all. Alright, we're just going to do a quick match. And see what happens. I could practice versus the AI, but I mean, we're just jumping into the deep end right now. Okay, so that's still sitting at about, oh, now it jumped up to 80%. So it's jumping around.
When the chips are down, you want your heroes a little roguish and scruffy, like me.
30 seconds before you attack.
Give everyone some armor, if they even bother to pick it up.
Yeah. Ha! My totem is a gun. Also, what's a raccoon?
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Those guys are about to shoot at us. Don't mind me. I'm just dying. You're welcome.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
My good deed for the day.
The mission area is yours.
Back from the brink, baby. See, I'm fucking helpful. Oh, someone scratch my back. You're ready for action. Team play. That's me.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
This is real firepower. You're ready for action. Those guys are about to shoot at us.
Ah, damn. I would get taken out by Quill.
Oh, I'm not gonna make it easy. Maximum pulse.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
You're welcome.
Damn.
I'm not stopping now. Here comes the trouble. You're ready for action.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
I'm fucking helpful. You're welcome.
That was good. Now let's see now. Okay, now the GPU is sitting at about mid-80s.
You take stuff other people are guarding.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
was just about to get out of that area.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. Capture the mission area!
Back from the brink, baby. What kind of person makes nests of explosive spiders?
We are undefeatable!
You're welcome. Someone scratch my back.
Oh, damn, just got me. Oh, he got me with the clap. I've got the clap.
My good deed for the day. I'll patch you up.
Oh, come on. Damn it. You got me wandering into the area.
My good deed for the day. Don't bite me. I'm just dying. I was a little messed up there.
Glory is almost yours!
That's the stuff.
Control lost! Control seized!
This is a nice spot. You're welcome.
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Team player. That's me.
All right, good job, team. Now,
Another epic victory! Big win!
and now it's sitting at 93%, so it keeps on creeping up. Okay, so the FPS in the game isn't dropping off.
Poor villain. I'm not judging.
Who are you calling a raccoon, huh?
Thanks,
battle
Moon
starts
Knight.
in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
We can pull it off. I've been in worse games. You're ready for action. Keyhole break real nice. My good deed for the day.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
I'll patch you up. Leave them to caution. My good deed for the day. Those guys are about to shoot at us. Team play. That's little pieces of keyholes everywhere. I'll patch you up.
Thanks. You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
My good deed for the day. I'll patch you up. Team play. That's me.
Glory's almost yours.
I'll patch you up.
Wow, I don't know why it dropped down to 19%. Now it's at 50%.
I'm a good guy who occasionally takes stuff that doesn't belong to me. This is a nice spot.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
A symbiote. Ugh, I hate these flarkin' things.
First death.
I am healed. I am wounded. I will help. The area is almost yours.
I'll patch you up.
We are undefeatable.
I just got caught on the edge of the first storm. Damn.
You're welcome. Someone scratch my back. I'm
Whoa, how did I get hit? Good job, team. I'm liking the teams I'm getting so far. Alright, now the GPU is sitting at 60. How's the CPU sitting at? Still at 115. So the CPU is still taking a lot of it.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Mods. Thank you, Suzu. Oh, shoot. I gotta bring myself back into the game.
just saying. There's nothing I can't fix.
Oh, I got a good team up here.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
That's some nice armor you got there, sweetheart. How much you want for it? How about just one arm? No? Ah, come on! You're killing me, kid.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Damn you, Quill. Just hit lag. Crap.
You're welcome. I feel like we should have been there already. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just dying. Rise, my friend.
God, Quill.
What's the holdup? I'll patch you up.
Crap! Nobody was supporting me.
Told you to keep your.
Spider
I
mode.
feel like we should have been there already. I'll patch you up. This time I need you. Relay deployed. It ain't cheap. Get ready to lock and overload. Stand down. See, I'm flunking help. Again. I'll patch you up. No, don't mind me. I'm just dying. Behold the god of thunder!
I got swallowed by the shark.
I was a little messed up there. Thanks. This is real firepower!
Slayer, don't turn back now.
My good deed for the day. You're ready for action. Oh no, Rose. I don't gotta go blow you from a twin. Again. My good deed for the day. What's the holdup? You're welcome.
Honestly, Rasputin.
Rise, my friends.
Watch me.
Second chances over. You're ready for action.
Only 60 seconds left.
Ow! Stupid shark.
Get that vehicle moving again.
You're ready for action.
Down to 30
friggin'... Hell. Alright. Okay, now it's only using 70%. But GPU's 100%. Oh, for God's sake. Alright. Okay, so encoding overload, consider turning down video settings or using a fasting encoding process. What is a fasting encoding process? God. But I'm a potato, so there's that. Alright, now it dropped the GPU down to 19%. Alright, so it starts off fine, and then it just keeps on getting bottlenecked and stuck. Alright, processor's sitting at about 50 to 80%. So we got to bring down the settings just a little bit more. Oh God, we're still streaming. So let's go with low quality and apply that. So preset 3 for low quality. I mean, I did turn everything else down in that game to like the lowest quality. Crap. This is recording, encoding. So I've been streaming for an hour now. Man. Okay, so it gets a little bit too bogged down. And my FPS drops off a cliff. So the GPU can't handle it, I guess. I mean, currently it's sitting at 21%, but I mean, it could spike up to 100. Alright, so 20% of my GPU is being currently utilized by Live 2D and OBS. And this HW monitor, I guess. Enable custom encoder settings. Twitch VOD track, we don't need that. Audio encoder, no, that's an audio. And that's for audio encoding. So I don't need that. was doing alright. Then it just fell off a cliff. Really, Ritska is probably the NIM in this situation. But I mean, I can only call on him at night. So I could take screen caps after this to see how high it spikes. And then maybe he might be able to diagnose it a little bit more without us spending another $400 on another graphics card. Because this 3060 should be able to handle it. Let's see now. New window. Pull that up. Let's see now. Spike when streaming. It's not uncommon. Your GPU wants to take on as much load as possible. If you don't set limits on FPS, etc., your GPU will work as hard. It was 146. I started at 1, or like, 102, somewhere around there. So for 45 minutes. 3D to GPU 3 copy, that would be a spike in usage to 100%. This hasn't happened before. This is 4 years ago. Thanks. It's not uncommon. Your GPU wants to take on as much load as possible. If you don't set limits on FPS, etc., your GPU will work as hard as possible. The video's pretty long. Maybe just clip. Let's get the most work done. It's only an issue if you notice performance problems. Solutions would be turning on game mode, running OBS in admin mode, and setting frame caps if you haven't. Game mode. I don't know what. If you don't notice dips in performance when it hits 100, I don't worry about it. Alright, FPS limits. Also, as always, run OBS in administrative mode, as this fixes most issues. It also allows OBS to keep the resources it requests. No, it doesn't cause any issues to my stream, but I'm scared it's hurting my graphics card. Nah, that's not helpful. Fix for this ugly spike happening every single game. Streaming while GPU usage is high. Struggling with stream strutters / high GPU usage in OBS. Stream all the time with 0 issues. You can stream definitely 2. Alright, whatever. 3D portion under GPU and Task Manager that's maxing out at 100%, and the video encoder section is only hitting around 20%. This was 7 months ago. Okay. Skip to around 1:40. Well, that's great. That doesn't help with that link. This is log file. Oh, this is going to take a while. Yeah, that's an insanely long file. I'm not reading through that. Okay, so he has a 3700 with a 2060. So he's got less of one than mine. 32 gig. We got 64 gig. And he's got a 3070. What do I have? Or sorry, 3708 core processor. We have a, what is that? We have an AMD Ryzen 5500, 6 core. So he has a larger, so he has a better CPU. We have a better graphics card. And the graphics card can usually handle a lot better. More with the game, you need to stop your GPU from being pegged at 100%. You can do this by capping your FPS to that of your monitor. If you have a Hertz monitor, for example, 140 FPS is a good idea. Maybe 120 FPS would be good as well. So that's just the bit rate. Stream in general. Video. So, I mean, that's it at 60 FPS. I don't think I could change anything else. I mean, everything else should be a pretty good set. Oh, man. Turn your game graphics down to help you better achieve and maintain those frame rates. If you have something graphical also running in the background or to the side, like a browser rendering something, you should test it with your browser closed. As for OBS, once everything looks like it's running as it should, close the preview to reduce graphical load. I did that. So people say it's and 120 FPS. Because its interval of 60 to help with streaming at 60 FPS would be able to hold pretty close to those frame rates. When set was maybe a 10 FPS to 15 FPS dip. There was a really good lot going on, but most of the time was staying pretty close to the respective FPS lock. All my video settings in game are all turned low except for one, that being texture quality, just so the game doesn't look like watercolors. When streaming, the only things I have open are the game, OBS, Discord, iTunes. I've tried with Discord and iTunes closed, and it was still the same issues. Assuming you mean to close the OBS preview window, so I can, oh yeah, I closed that. Yeah, the preview window, I just disable. If there was anything else you could think of, I would appreciate it. Just let me know. Certainly not one. Your GPU hitting 100% on 3D rendering and the described symptoms imply that OBS is being starved of GPU resources and needs to do rendering before encoding. And yet OBS log isn't reporting rendering lag. In addition, as you said, the webcam video was still running smoothly. Could you try capping the frame rate even lower, like 60 FPS, and see if that occurs then? Just tried this, made the GPU 3D drop to about 20 to 30% and stayed there while actively streaming and playing. However, the game did not feel very good to play at 60 FPS. I'm thinking it's got to be the encoder. It's got to be encoding to send it there, because I don't have any lag in my game while I'm playing. It's just sending it to you guys that is screwing it. imagine running the game at 60 FPS and running higher frame rates. It does sound like GPU is perhaps being too overloaded when things get really hectic in game. I'd imagine you want to try and bump the frame rate back to 120 FPS, at least until you've already set the game's. If you've already set the game settings to low, I'd look into turning off psycho-visual tuning, since it uses GPU power for image analysis, and maybe even dropping the quality preset from preset 5 to preset 3. I currently have it on preset 3, low quality. Otherwise, if you don't want to compromise more of the gaming experience, the next options are get a stronger GPU, or look into a 2 PC streaming setup, which I'm not going to do. Went in and turned off psycho-visual tuning. What is psycho-visual tuning? Psycho-visual tuning, OBS. Yes, this here helped me so much, guys. This basically eliminates all lag and produces studio quality video with no hardware usage at all. Like it's saying, this guy is a genius. Psycho-visual tuning. So where is that? OBS streaming guide. The Ricky to turn on. What it does is it allows the encoder to sacrifice some parts of an image to enhance other parts to make overall perceived visual quality better to the human eye. However, feel free to check for yourself if it works for you personally. If you think your stream looks worse with it on, turn it off. Additionally, it does take some GPU usage. Okay, so that takes up more GPU. But where's it at? More streaming service recommendations. Setting recommendations. Okay. Enable bandwidth testing mode. Nah. I'm going to do that. Maximum streaming bandwidth. That's for a multi-track video. Output. See, it keeps giving me that thing that it's an encoder issue. So let's see now. In OBS, encoder overloaded in OBS. Possible fixes. Send too much information through your encoder and can't handle it. Reduce output resolution. Or the output resolution in your setting. Lower the frame rate. In your video settings, change encoder preset. What should my encoder settings be in OBS? For talk shows or low motion content, 60 for gaming or high motion broadcasts, video bitrate 4,000 to 6,000 kilobytes per second for 1080p, as recommended by YouTube. The X264 encoder apparently uses up the CPU. NVEC uses up the graphics card, and the graphics card is what's getting choked out. So that's for encoding. How to debug encoding overload in OBS project. Okay. Figure out the bottleneck. GPU, processor, and memory look very mild. Some same for CPU and RAM. Nothing exciting in the logs except with verbose. Is there a way for me to get more information on what's wrong? I'm not posting any details of my settings on purpose. At this point, I'm not looking for advice on the forum. You should change your settings rather I'm interested in how I could figure out myself in a principled manner. If there are more than 0.0 frames currently skipped by the encoder wasn't dropping any frames. A frame is skipped by the encoder. If the encoder wasn't able to encode it within the time span available for encoding one frame. 60 FPS, it's 16.6667 microseconds. Milliseconds per frame? I don't know what MS is. Multiple sclerosis. This will happen if the computing power available for encoding one frame isn't available. In general, the more data you try to encode, the more computing power required, the higher the resolution your output video has. The more data, the more FPS your output video has, the more data. It might also be possible the GPU is currently transferring a huge amount of data between CPU and memory GPU. Memory for the app or game you are running, and there isn't enough PCI Express bandwidth available to both transfer this data and the data for OBS. If it's lacking computing power, it depends on various factors. If you use X264, it's the CPU power that's lacking. If you use a hardware encoder, it depends on the GPU type. Intel, AMD, NVIDIA. I currently have a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. What might be the issue? NVEC is a dedicated circuit on the GPU and has a fixed encoding power. If you ask too much from NVEC, it simply stalls no matter what app/game is currently using as 3D computing power. For Intel and AMD GPUs, the hardware encoder requires significant resources on the same type as a 3D app/game, so they complete for resources. So I don't have to worry about that for Intel and AMD GPUs. There's a second reason for overloaded situations. These are logged in the log as lagged frames. These are a result of OBS not being able to composite a frame within the time available until the next frame. It's also 16.665. I don't know if OBS also throws the encoding overload message for this. The situation happens if there are not enough GPU drawing 3D resources for OBS compositing the output frame. Chances are good you also have a GPU overload if you're having coding overload. That's true. I do have that. GPU overload is usually the result from the app/game competing with OBS for GPU resources. The reason for OBS demanding too much GPU resources might be a complex scene setup or too much video filters. That's not it. Or latency introduced with files and resources. Thanks for the speedy response. I don't fully understand why there's a limit on the encoding time per frame. When I'm recording, there should be no rush, but I asked that in a separate question. As you described yourself, there are many different... It's big, it's heavy, it's wood, it's log, it's log. Of course, this is worse than bad. Describe yourself. There are many different reasons for a frame to be dropped. Would it be feasible for OBS to capture more information about why exactly it is dropping frames? Like, sorry, I didn't get a frame from the GPU this time, or sorry, etc., etc. I suspect the CPU might actually be the bottleneck. No, that's not my issue. Time limit is because you can't encode frames at least as fast as you get them. Then you have to start buffering input frames potentially endlessly until you run out of memory. And raw frames are quite heavy. Dropped frames due to render lag, coding lag. Normally maxes out the threads automatically, so it might just be that lossless mode is... Okay. Oh, God. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Tell me how to fix the problem! Tell me! God, internet. Full of so much information. Okay. You don't have answers, but you have humor. Oh, thanks. That makes me feel so much better. Change your output format to MKV instead of MP4. I know where that is. Alright, so it's on MKV. Looks like MKV also after you're done recording. Encoder lag is very low and non-listen. Having the encoding overloaded error when trying to record to our new... I don't care about recording. I care about streaming. How many frames? It could just be when the game is loading. Yeah. We're not using fire. See OBS encoding overloads. It means your computer can't handle both the video and the encoding system stream simultaneously with your setup. Reduce the output resolution. So I can possibly reduce this, my output resolution. Yeah. Yeah, back. Lower the frame rate. Change the encoder preset. So the encoder preset, okay, so that's at low quality. Try hardware encoding. Overload issue 2022. Well, that can't be reached. Alright, great. Is there a video? No. F off with your subscribing. I don't want to talk to anyone. Go away. Let's see now. Launch OBS, go to settings, go to video, go to output scaled resolution. Lower the resolution settings, then click apply. Lower frame rate. I might try changing that. 60 down to 30. Yeah, I might do that. Let's see if that happens. In order to do that, I will have to exit OBS and then change it and then come back because I'm currently streaming. So I'm going to stop streaming and then I'll be right back. So give me about a minute and